So this creates this crisis. And the people are groaning. And so they say there in verse 5, give us a king. We want to be like everybody else. We just want to be like everybody else. Now just know that that's a trap. It's a trap that every person faces, every generation faces, every church faces, every college faces, every organization faces, to be just like everybody else. Now, our family, we love going to the Green River. Do you know why they call it the Green River? Because it's green. That's right. There you go. Okay, just want to check you, make sure you're awake. So we've been taking our family to the Green River. We float down the river. Now, our sons oar the boats, and now our grandsons are oaring the boats, and we all fish, and we have fun, and you swim in the water, and have lunch on the beach. I mean, we've been doing this since 1996 when our kids were small, and of course, we're always fishing when you're there, because anytime you're on water like that and you can see the fish, I mean, you got to catch the fish. And so my wife, she has become an expert at catching these fish. And so she knows how to use the right bait. I mean, you got to understand, people come from all over the world. This is like one of these destination fishing areas. It was right in our backyard. And people come from all over, and they might be lucky if they catch one fish. And man, Jara's just catching fish after fish. She's just awesome. And she knows how to put the hook in just the right way and the baits and so forth so that she knows how to catch them. And you know what? That same bait worked in 1996, 1998, 2000, 2002, 2006, 2008, 2010, 2015, 2022. This was just a couple of months ago. You see, the bait is very effective. Satan uses a common bait all down through history. This passage teaches it to us. Now, I know some of you are like, what about the poor fish? Well, don't worry. Jesus revives our heart, and Jara knows how to revive fish. She gives them a kiss, she puts them in the water, lets the water run through the gills, and she lets them go. She can revive the fish. I thought that was good. Okay. I thought that was good. Anyways, all right. So here it is. Don't take the bait. Here's the bait. We want to be like everybody else. We want to be like everybody else. Friends, every junior high student eventually will look at their mom and say, Mom, I want to do this because I want to be like everybody else. How many of you said that to your parents? How many of you online said that to your parents? You see, I don't remember saying that to my parents. I promise you, your parents remember you saying that to them. And every generation is going to face that. And organizations, churches face that. There's a friend of mine who attended a seminary, and when it started back in the 40s, it was quite honestly small and obscure, and no one paid any attention to it. God blessed them as they continued to honor the Lord. And then in the 90s, they became the predominant seminary in the United States. And a friend of mine was with one of the key leaders, and he said, when we became great, we became like everybody else. I mean, think about this, how this happens on a personal level. It happens in organizations, it happens in colleges, it happens in seminaries, it happens in churches. It happens in your personal life. I mean, think about it. Mom, I want to get a tattoo. Everyone else does. Or how about this? You go to the hair salon, you go to the barber shop. I went to the barber shop the other day, and she says, how do you want your hair? And it's like, I don't know. And then, so they hand you some pictures. And you're looking at the pictures, and you say, I want to be like that person. How many of you have done this? Right? And so you got a haircut that really is on someone else's head. Why? Because there's only so many things you can do. How many of you are wearing clothes that someone else is wearing today somewhere in the world? How many of you went and got online and you looked at what other people were wearing, and then you tried to find those exact clothes? How many of you ordered clothes online that somebody else was wearing? Right? See, you don't want to be different than everybody else. You want to be like everybody else. And here's the crazy reality. God had saved the Jewish people. He had delivered them by an outstretched hand. He called them to be a peculiar people in that generation. They were supposed to have a different philosophy about the world, a different view about God, a different view about right and wrong, a different view about what is just and unjust. You see, God places them in the land of Israel so that whether goods were coming from Europe or Asia down to Africa, or goods from Africa up towards Europe or Asia, everyone would be passing through, and they would talk about this peculiar people. This peculiar people where everybody has a Saturday off and they all worship God. Who does that? Shut down the whole nation so that they don't even make their slaves work. They don't make their animals work. They don't make anybody. What kind of people do that? And you can just hear people going, they're going to become poor. No. When they did it, God did what? He blessed them. This peculiar people, they don't have any idols in their house. They worship this unseen God. Who does that in Asia? Who did that in Europe? Who did that in Africa? They were a peculiar people. Not cheat on your spouse. I mean, hello, Europe, Asia, Africa. These were a peculiar people. Their morals were different. Their practices were different. They were to stand out. And you know what they're saying? Just give us a king. We want to be like everybody else. That was the problem. They had a desire to be like everybody else. Christian friends, look at me. This bait is the same bait that Satan has used in the past to destroy other people's lives. Because Christians are not supposed to be like everybody else. The church today is not supposed to be like we are not the Lions Club, the Kiwanis Club, the Beer Club, the Tap Club. We're not. The Gun Club, we're not. We have a different moral compass. We have a different Lord. We have a different master. His name is Jesus. And so this is huge. I mean, if you miss this in 8, you've missed the main point. The main point is you don't want to be like everybody else, and that's what they're saying. Give us a king. We just want to be like everybody else.